Congressman Steve Scalise joins us now, House Minority Whip. Congressman, Joe Biden's getting high marks for pulling off the speech last night. What grade do you give him?
Well, it's good. Good morning. It's good to be with all of you. First of all, yeah, I guess you could give an M for misleading because there were so many points in there where they just left out key facts. I mean, Joe Biden literally said that he won't let Russia interfere with the elections under his watch. It was under the Obama-Biden administration where Russia tried to interfere with the elections. In fact, it was an FBI official under the Obama administration and Biden administration who just pled guilty a few days ago to trying to spy on the Trump campaign. All this happened under Joe Biden's watch. And by the way, it's been Donald Trump's leadership that did the travel ban on China, stopping flights coming in from China. Joe Biden said he was against that. Joe Biden criticized President Trump, who led and said, we're going to ban flights coming in from Europe to stop the flow of COVID. Dr. Fauci, by the way, testified under oath that President Trump's decisions were the right decisions, and President Trump's decisions saved American lives. Joe Biden would not have saved those American lives. So let's fact check this. Let's look at those details, because the details really do matter. When Joe Biden's embracing the far left agenda that includes defunding the police. You had that segment earlier about the violence in some of these cities across America. It's coming because they're trying to defund police. Joe Biden says he wants to reallocate money away from police. Does he not think that we understand what that means? Defunding and reallocating are the same things. He's going to take money away from our police. We need safe streets. I know firsthand how important it is to have law enforcement and the important job they do keeping us safe.
So we had Lee Carter on, who was looking at the polls and polling people as to what they thought about what happened last night in these speeches. And Brian interviewed her, and she said, you really have to look at the independents, because the Republicans are going to vote the way they're going to vote. Democrats are going to vote the way they are. What about these independents that are still not sure yet? They like the policies of Trump, but they might not like the way that he tweets or whatnot. They like Joe Biden's story, pulls at the heartstrings, but they're not sure about the progressive agenda. You know him. You work there in Washington with him. He's been a lifelong politician, 47 years. Who is Joe Biden?
Well, Joe Biden's somebody who's been on the wrong side of a lot of issues, you know, and he might put his arm around you and laugh and chuckle. And of course, we've seen that's gotten him into trouble, too. But ultimately, you've got to look at what he said and has he delivered. I mean, for all of the list of things that he said he would solve, every problem in the world is going to be solved. He hadn't solved any of them in 47 years in political office. I do think that matters. Results matter. And so you look at President Trump's record. In just 3 years, he's delivered on all the promises he's made. Now, look, if you didn't vote for him 4 years ago because you didn't like the fact that he was going to restore law and order, he was going to bring back jobs from China, President Trump was doing all of those things. He was getting regulations under control so that we can actually build America back up again. Every income level was benefiting, by the way. Lowest income workers were benefiting the most. We need to rebuild our economy now from COVID. Who better to do it than Donald Trump, who already did it once, not Joe Biden, who was part of so many failures that we don't want to go into. Osama bin Laden might still be around today if he was the one making the call.
Yeah, he said he didn't think it was a good idea to go. Congressman, apologies. It sounds like you have to work tomorrow because Nancy Pelosi dramatically last week called the House back into session. Sounds like there's going to be a vote tomorrow on the Postal Service. And it's crazy that this is now a political issue. It all started when the Postmaster General sent out a letter and said, hey, attention all states, because you, in some cases, have crazy rules where people can request a ballot on the Thursday before Election Day. We don't know that we can get the ballot out and get it back in time to count. And now it's become a big thing, and there's all sorts of money being tossed around, which is unusual because the post office in financial filings has made it clear we have enough money to run right through 2021.
Yeah, this is such a fabricated crisis. It's a typical move by Nancy Pelosi to try to divert because, you know, in the middle of their convention, you would think they would be talking about their agenda. They didn't mention their agenda at all. In fact, in the Democrat Party platform, they mentioned Donald Trump almost twice more than they mentioned jobs or confronting China, because that's not what their focus is. They hate the president more than they care about people or rebuilding this country. But look at the post office. I mean, they've said they have enough money to run through the middle of next year if we don't give them another dime. Yeah. They just turned down a $10 billion loan request, and Nancy Pelosi saying give them $25 billion of your hard-earned dollars or else the election won't happen. And oh, by the way, Nancy Pelosi wants to mail ballots to everybody on the rolls, including millions of people who are not legally on the rolls. That's what they want to do. I think people are going to see through this, but it shows you where their priorities are. They're not focused on jobs right now.
The president's mad at you guys. The president's mad at you guys. He says, how could you let her, Nancy Pelosi, do this? Why aren't you showing some leadership to shut this down on the post office? I know you're in the minority, but does he have a point? There was no protest about bringing back this in and foster and allowing the flames to burn on this controversy?
Well, first of all, she's Speaker of the House. That's why we're working to fire Nancy Pelosi as Speaker in November. When we get the House back, we're going to be focused on creating jobs again, getting our economy back on track, lowering health care costs.
But I mean, what about the president being angry at Republicans for not standing up for this whole situation?
Well, I talked to the president 2 days ago about this, and I agree with the president that this is ridiculous that Nancy Pelosi is wasting the House's time on things like this, things that aren't a problem. Again, they've got enough money to run through the middle of next year without another dime, and they should be focused on jobs, helping reopen schools safely. But that's why we got to get rid of Nancy Pelosi as Speaker.
No skinny bill?
She sets the agenda. Oh, look, I mean, the post office has enough money. Again, you go create a crisis and then let the media run with it as if the post office is going to shut down. That's not the case. And by the way, when they in their convention say, oh, they don't want you to vote. Who are they? Who are they? We're trying to make sure every vote counts, but we don't want millions of ballots that are fraudulent out on the streets, rampant for voter fraud.
All right, Congressman, thanks so much.